Guess what's back? Stardew's back. Guess why? Content update! Hello everyone, I am the Canadian Gaming Penguin. As you can see, I am in Stardew Valley, and for those of you who know me or have been subscribing to me via my Final Fantasy XIV videos, do not worry, I am still doing those. I am super excited about the Stardew Valley update, and I have done a playthrough of this before, but because there is so much new stuff added to this one, I am going to be diving into a new playthrough, and I will be going through from the very beginning and working my way through the new content, and a lot of it is endgame stuff, so it is going to take me a few episodes to actually get to that. But as you can see, I am on a brand new farm, and you will be able to tell that right away because there is a lot of debris and weeds and stuff all around, and I have to say I really like this area. This is a new layout, the beach layout. This is a new one. Originally I was going to pick this one, and as you can see it is a very, very big map. Spoiler, I do end up picking this farm. Apparently that's where the greenhouse is. Unfortunately, however, part of the new changes with the new content is a change to sprinklers, and I want to be able to show that. I can't show that on this beach layout. I will be able to show it. I discover this later. Because sprinklers don't work. Why? Because of sand. Sand, which is coarse and irritating and gets everywhere, is always, don't ask why I watered that, is breaking the sprinklers. So I can't really show that. So instead I decided I would just show the beginning here and hide myself behind a tree apparently, and kind of showcase this layout of the beach farm. I really like how this looks, and I like how the, if I can actually make my way around here, this is actually central to your area. So if you're wondering, yes, grass obviously grows on the beach, and yes, you can plant your crops on the beach. You can also see some regular soil over here, so I guess there is a bit of land that you could plant your use sprinklers rather. And it was at this moment that I realized I could show the new sprinkler features. It just would be limited to a small area. But you have these all over the place, and it's gonna take a while for you to clear those because you need to upgrade your pickaxe, or not your pickaxe, your axe. You need to upgrade your axe. So yeah, there's that. And you're limited to that little area. Of course, you have your greenhouse to plant things, and I'm probably confusing a lot of you right now. So before I get into more complex things, let us get going with our new playthrough, which begins on the title screen, because there's new changes right there. So, well, let's get to it. So apparently there is a new secret egg here, which I did discover. Which I also kind of knew to look for because it was mentioned in either the patch notes or the changelog or anything. But anyway, the old ones are this here with the Junimos appearing, and also knocking on the E here, you'll see the alien appearing, but also we have that. Ta-da! At least I assume that's the new one anyway. But anyway, if we go to the new options here and create a new farm, we will see, as per usual, our character building a name for our character, the farm name, our favorite thing, which of course will be penguins. But on the right side here we have the different maps. We have the standard farm, the riverland farm, the forest farm, the hilltop farm, the wilderness farm. More on the wilderness farm in a second, the Four Corners farm, which is good for multiplayer, and the new one, beach farm, good foraging and fishing, and tons of open space. Sometimes supply crates wash up on shore, however sprinklers don't work in the sandy soil. And you can see the descriptions of the various ones. This standard farm is the classic version of well, it was the original one, and it was the only one that was available. In relation to the wilderness farm, with the gear options over here on the left, which I will talk about in just a second, there is an option to turn off the monsters that would spawn on that farm. So if you want the wilderness farm but not the mobs, well, there you go. Anyway, so we also have this gear option on the left here, and this is part of the new changes. So advanced game options, we have community center bundles. We can have normal. This will modify the bundles that appear in the community center. More on that later. And you can see there's a remixed one or a normal one. We are going to stick with the normal one for now. There's also the Guaranteed Gear 1 completable, ensures that the traveling merchant sells a red cabbage seed sometime during the first year, meaning that you will be able to complete your community center bundle in the first year. And for those who don't know, the red cabbage seed, because this is a bit of a farming game, you cannot usually get until year 2, which means the community center can't be completed, and more on that again later, until year 2. Anyways, we can also see there's mine rewards, the normal, and modifies the rewards that appear in the mines. They spawn monsters on the farm, so this allows monsters to spawn at night. So with the wilderness farm, you are actually allowed to turn off that option. Then there is a profit margin and multiplayer applied to the price of items sold. And then there's more multiplayer options with starting cabins. You can choose how many cabins you have already, and there will be already built. And you don't have to worry about building that if you're starting a multiplayer game right off the bat. Then there's also the cabin layout, whether the cabins are placed closer or further away from one another. And then other options, random seed, because apparently there are seeds in the game now. Like Minecraft. Anyway, so we are the lame penguin farm. Let us go, and I am skipping the intro. If you want to see the intro, go ahead and watch the first episode, and more if you like, of the original playthrough that I did. Now, I wish I could say that I was joking about playing on a standard farm, which I mentioned earlier in this video, but I can't. I ended up creating a new farm which had the regular style of map. I then played 3 game days. After I was done recording that, I had decided to work on the beach-style farm that I had created for the earlier part of the video. I discovered that I really liked the layout, and even if it means not being able to water plants with sprinklers, this isn't that big of a deal, as I did discover there is a small area where I can use sprinklers. It just means less crops are planted. Thus I decided to go with the beach-style farm after all. Unfortunately, I didn't record any of the first few days that I played, so all I can really give is a brief explanation of what I've done thus far on the farm. This will be towards the end of the video. But before I do that, much of what I did on this farm is similar to the other farm, and on that other farm, the first few days went a little like this. So, we are here. We have a tool. We have an inventory. We have a very small inventory. We have absolutely nothing other than a map. Let's not click on the map. We have some crafting stuff. We have some this. And always show tool hit location. I'm turning that on. Why? Because I have bad aim and sometimes I destroy things that I don't need to destroy. What else are we showing? Show advanced crafting information. Fishing bite sound. So this is another accessibility type thing that has been changed. The fishing bite sound. We can, fishing bait sound. I'm assuming you can choose the different ones. I don't know how. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's cool. I don't know if you heard that. I'll try to amplify that in editing. This is another option, dialogue typing sound. I'm actually going to turn that off, even though I do not... it's kind of annoying when I'm trying to read it out loud and read it for you guys and have that sound in the background instead of just the music. So anyway, so that's nice. Turning that off as well. You can also mute the animal sounds. And the UI scale is actually different than the zoom scale now, which is super nice. So I can increase the zoom, or the UI scale rather, but I don't want to. Let's go back to 100% there. Zoom buttons, as you can see. And then we can see the zoom buttons again up there. So on and so forth. And then of course you can adjust your keybinds to the various things, and you take a screenshot in the zoom level as well. But anyways, that is enough of the UI stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up these parsnips, and we can see we have 15. You receive 15 parsnips. Here's a little something to get you started. Mayor Lewis. And because we can, we're going to check the TV here, which will tell us the weather report and the luck that we'll have. Anything living off the land. This one's for all you greenhorns out there. Chop wood and search for wild forage to earn some cash while waiting on your first harvest. And we're also going to turn that on so that it's not dark when we get back in. So using tools, as you can see the guide on the left side, using your axe will chop these little log things down here. And then your scythe will clear up these weeds and whatever. These ones here are grass. These ones are used to help feed animals. Eventually, once you have a silo built, you'll be able to get hay from that. But until then, it's basically useless. So, we are going to clear ourselves a little patch here. I then proceeded to clear out some of the area and hold the ground to be able to plant my new parsnips. I then proceeded to water the plants as well, and I explained why this is important to do. It's best to do this the very first day, even if you have sprinklers, because then they start growing immediately day one. And unsurprising to anyone who's ever played Stardew Valley again, I decided to clear out more land. Shocking. I was also attempting to collect wood so I could craft a chest. And if you're wondering, this is what happens when you try to clear that. Your axe isn't strong enough to break the stump. I have enough wood for a chest now, so I'm going to place that. Oh, we have some mixed seeds. I'm going to plant those as well. My day then proceeded to meet a lot of people. And more people. And more people. And even more people. And guess what? There is still some more people to meet. I'm not done yet. So the reason why I'm talking to everybody is obviously cultivate and harvest a parsnip, but introductions. There are 28 people and we've been introduced to 3. Technically, you saw your first 2 people, Mayor Lewis and Robin, in the cutscene that you would see when you first start the game. I obviously skipped that because I have seen it numerous times now. And if you would like to see it, as I said, you can see that in my first video episode of the original playthrough. Down here we have spring onions, which are very good for early game for energy. They don't give a whole lot. There's 13 energy, but we only have 270 at the beginning. And there are things that I am going to want to collect along the way that I don't want to use for energy, such as this one dandelion right here, and this, what are you, wild horse radish as well. And if you're wondering, using your scythe to clear these does not consume any energy at all. If only weeding like this were so easy in reality. And whenever you see these, I call them the worms or little twiggies that are twitching. Use your hoe and dig them up, because sometimes you'll find something good. You can also check the trash cans, but I don't recommend to do that when you have NPCs right nearby, which I just did, and as you saw, I was caught. Ooh, that was nice. We got a fried mushroom thing right there from the start. And we already gave a gift to him. I actually meant to talk to you first, but yes. And you can see here the relationship status. Another new feature with content 1.5, we can see whether or not we have given a gift to the NPCs, which we've already been able to see before, but now we can actually see if we talked to them today. So it's much easier to keep track of whom we've spoken to. And as you can see, anyone whom I have spoken to, I have both their names, their relationship status, and in this case, whether or not they have any friendship level with us or not. In this case they don't, and as you can see, most of these are hidden right now. And here we have our calendar for the time being, and we can see it is the 1st of spring, year 1, and we have Mayor Lewis's birthday on the 7th. We also have arcade games, Journey of the Prairie King. Something else that's new, you can save your progress. If you don't want to continue playing, just hit the escape key. But you can see here, Journey of the Prairie King, continue journey, or start new journey. And I'm going to start a new journey the next time I do that. And there's a mini game here, but you need a key before you can do anything with that. And then there's a Jojo Cola for 75 gold. Don't waste your gold on it. It's not worth it. So these three are the oddballs and are very hard to find on occasions. And we also have this bridge to repair. We need 300 wood, so that is something I'm going to be collecting right away as well. As you can see, it gets quite dark. As I state the obvious. Eventually you will be able to, if you open up the inventory here by hitting the escape key, there are 2 rings here, boots, a hat, and our clothing, which we can now exchange for other clothing, so on and so forth. We can use rings that have a glow effect, so we'll have a glowing perimeter on us, for us, which makes things so much easier. Me, I'm just going to get lost. And we are going- oh. Other new thing? Look at that. Ha! Ha 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 ha! I moved the bed. So, anyone who's new, doesn't know, we couldn't move the beds before. They were permanently wherever they spawn permanently. We can now move them. Yay! There's also different special ones as well. Hello there, just got back from a fishing trip. You should come to the beach sometime. I've got something for you. So the first thing we're going to do is water our plants, and we're going to head to the beach. Why? Because we are going to go fishing. But of course I decided to try to collect more wood, and we just found a lost book. But here we have Pierre, who is going to give you a cutscene that I'm not going to watch. We have our fishing rod now. And it's a very, very bamboo, pathetic pole. Eventually we will also be able to get a bigger, better pole for fishing, but in the meantime we will do that. And we will have a training thing for our first fishing attempt. As you can see, it gives you the description. Try to keep the green bar with the fishy, which is what I'm doing. You cannot fail your first one. And we got ourselves a sunfish pole, which is what we have, or the training rod. The training rod will help you with your fishing if you are not very good at it. And as you can see, we also have large fishing tanks, or well, large fishing tanks. We also have fish tanks that we can place fish in and coral in and seaweed in. I was kind of exploring with that on one of my other farms. And we also have a fisher double bed. These are available in the furnishing catalog. I can't remember if this one was or not. I don't think it was. I think you have to buy that one. And thus ensued some more fishing, until my inventory was filled, which didn't take too long. And the few fish I caught, I sold. So I mentioned the community center a few times. That's this decrepit building right now, which is currently locked. It will unlock eventually. And if you're wondering, yes, you can chop down these trees out here as well. Make sure you do clear the stump, however, because if you don't, then the trees will not grow back until you do so. So the next day we'll see a little seedling in its place. And that concluded day 2, so I went to bed, and I looked at my earnings for the day, which weren't a whole lot. And then I checked the weather and the luck for the day the next day. Advertisement. I keep finding cool stuff, but my backpack is full. Does this sound like you? Well, Pierre's got you covered. Stop by Pierre's General Store today and check out our affordable size 24 backpack. See you soon. And to no surprise, I decided to chop down some more wood. I then proceeded to repair the bridge. And then speak with this old mariner. So if we open up our inventory again before I forget, we can see that there's fish and there's collections, and yes, there are new ones. I don't know all of the new ones because the new ones are part of the endgame content that I haven't done yet. This is Marnie here. Hello. And if we had animals to purchase from, which we don't, but if we did, we could buy the chickens, cows, goats, ducks, sheep, rabbits, and pigs. And there is a new animal that I'm not going to tell you about because I'm mean. Ostriches. We have ostriches now. The incubators for the eggs can be placed in the barn. And I don't currently know how to obtain the ostrich eggs or the incubator. And then, of course, I decided to clear more debris. Aha! Our very first geode. You found a geode. The local blacksmith can break it open for you. Who knows what it might be hidden inside. So we'll make a visit to Clint right now if we can. We should be able to make it before he closes. I believe he closes his shop at 4 p.m. and it's currently 1:20 p.m. and while we're in town we're also going to go fishing. Because there are some fish that only appear on rainy days. And so one of the tasks that I will be doing is completing the community center as quickly as possible. Obviously that means I have to try to clear that out by year 2 because I did not select the red cabbage thing effectively. So here we have the blacksmith right here, and this is Clint's little place. Process geode. So we click that and place that, and what do we get? I got a rock. Clint, you're fired. Just keep fishing, just keep fishing, just keep fishing, fishing, fishing. What do? We fish, fish, fish. And fish some more. And of course I don't have any space in my inventory, so we're going to say goodbye to the soggy newspaper and say hello to the small bass mouth. Small mouth bass. Small bass mouth. Okay, I give up on the fishing. We are going to head back to the farm and clear up our inventory. And you also want to be careful about your use of stamina, etc. because as you can see, my character is now exhausted. For shame, for shame, for shame. And if you get too exhausted, your character will pass out and you'll end up in the local hospital. So, be careful. Alrighty, and we're going to head to bed. Because it's going to take me a while to re-energize myself. And we have level 2 foraging. Nice. And a level 1 mining. Also nice. And we made 190 gold from selling that one coral and the oyster and the smallmouth bass. So exciting. And that brings us to the present. This is obviously what I have built thus far. I obviously want to clear some of these seeds so that they don't grow and affect my plants. We have most of the debris and whatnot still around here. I didn't clear up the grass or anything like that. And I haven't done a whole lot. And I am just going to zoom out as far as I can here, and we can see there is still a lot of debris around, so I haven't done much clearing of the debris on this farm. I did more of it on the other farm. I believe I also haven't repaired the bridge yet. Yeah, because I think that's all the only amount of wood that I have. Mostly because I was trying to play catch-up, so to speak, and yeah. I don't think I've repaired the bridge. I will find out. And if I haven't, I will do that on my own for the next video. But yes. We are going with the beach. Because I'm a silly penguin and couldn't be decisive because I was not thinking, and really the game changer was finding the, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the real game changer was finding this here. It will take a while to actually be able to utilize this space to its fullest extent because of these logs, but that just tells me that the first tool rather that I'm going to be upgrading will be my pickaxe. My axe, not my pickaxe. But anyways, we will also be able to make our first visit to the mines in the next episode as well, and I will explain more about that in the next one, and it'll probably be a little more organized than this episode is. I couldn't contain my excitement and plan very effectively. Anyways, that is it for this one. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button. Now that's it for this one. Thanks for watching!